Alright, we are back for another painting tutorial, and this one is on the Einhyr Hearthguard. Might be how you pronounce that. Not really sure, but however you do, we're going to get right into it. I'm going to start with Mortarion Grime. And this is my my custom scheme that I've done on the other whatever these guys are called. What are these guys called again? The other Leagues of Votann guys that I've painted. There it is. I immediately make a mistake. I'm going to put this color all over everything except the knee pads and then the sort of upper shoulder area and kind of this stuff back here. I'm going to go up into here. These guys are all armor, but I didn't really want just blueberries walking around the battlefield. And I felt like these guys just completely blue with the blue that I'm using would look a little bit like that. So we're going to sort of match the color scheme that we used for the other guys on these guys, even though they don't have cloth. We're just going to sort of pretend that they do and use the same sort of, like, I guess, general areas of the body that will be a certain color. So we'll get that in here. Get the hands here. And this blue, or the blue that we use, will cover over this Mortarion Grime pretty easily. So if we decide to come back and switch some things up, it won't be too big of a deal. Get it on here. And the weapon, of course, will be black, so we'll be able to go over that super easily. Oh, and I missed the back of the leg here. All right. So then this here, the shoulder pads and all that is going to be blue. And then the knee pads are going to be blue. So I think that will do it for our Mortarion Grime here. Just going to get under the shoulder pads, make sure I got all the way in. Good. All right. So I will go away, let that dry, make sure I've gotten all the spots I need to. Then we'll come back and do the blue. All right, we are back, and our Mortarion Grime is finishing drying up, and this is the wrong blue. So let me get the correct blue out here. Let's see here. Well, it's all the way in the back. Should have looked at my paint before I did this. There we go, Talisar blue. That's what we want. And I'm gonna give it a good shake. Make sure my brush is nice and wet. Moist, I guess, is probably a better way to say it. Not soaking wet, but just not bone dry either. And then we're just going to come in and lay this down right on all the bits that we didn't paint Mortarion Grime. Just making sure not to touch any individual spot more than one time so we don't get the streaks. That can sometimes happen. And of course, you know, it's not going to be perfect. Sometimes streaks will still form, but that's okay. We know what we're getting into when we use contrast paint like this, so that'll be just fine. On here, and right up to that line there. And make sure to get the bottoms of these little panels as well. And I guess I'll go all the way down to that. There we go. And then into here. Good. And then just down there at the bottom. Don't want to miss those. And I don't know how I missed that little spot right there, but I did. There we go. Oh, and I gotta get the back side of this bit right here. Perfect. All right, and then we'll do some knee pads here. go. And the other one. All right. And then I will, of course, do the other shoulder pad here. I'm just deciding if I want anything else to be blue besides the bits here, and I don't think so. So I think we'll just go. I'm actually going to rinse my brush off and get it back to just being a little bit damp. And then we'll come back here and do this. I think that'll be it for the blue. I may, while this is drying, I may just kind of take a look at the miniature and see what else we might make blue. But so far, I think it'll just be this. I realized I want to make this spine here black. So if we get a little bit of blue on there, it's not the end of the world. Alrighty. A little bit more in there. Up here. In there. Then along this front panel here. And that'll do it for the blue. Probably could have done this second half off camera, but that's okay. You guys get 2 cracks at it. So I will let that blue dry, and then we will come back and probably do the black and the skin. All right, we are back, and we'll do the black now. So I'm going to start off with the easy stuff, and then it'll just be the gun here. This is a plasma gun, so we will come back and paint the plasma glow, but for right this second, I'm just going to block it in with black. A little too much water on my brush there. I do like to keep my brush pretty wet when I paint with contrast paint, but that was too much. Just going to wick some of this back up, and we'll put this black back on. There we go. Come down here and get the cable. Do need to get the rest of the gun also. Trying to avoid the hand as much as possible. If I did get some on the hand, I could go back and just touch it up, re-add some of the primer color. Oh, I should say I primed this guy in gray here, by the way. I could go add some of that by hand and then redo the Mortarian grime, but most likely I would just leave it black, and you know, it would kind of get hidden in the overall paint job. These guys, I'm not going for any competition painting at all, just trying to get the army done so that it can get played with. You know, I'm not like just super rushing it, but like I said, we're not trying to win any competitions. Just fully painted to battle ready standards will do just fine. Get these little pipes here. I'm going to get this pipe on the back of his sword arm. Then I'm going to have to decide what exactly on this sword arm I'm going to paint black. Maybe nothing, but I'm just going to take a look at it here in a second. It's been a while since I filmed a video, so I may be holding the miniature in the wrong place to keep it in focus. If I am doing that, I'm sorry. Trying to get back into the swing of things here. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm going to do the spine right here, all the way down here in black. Kind of just to give the exoskeleton feel. I think I'm going to leave that part in this color, in the Mortarian grime. And then I'm trying to think, I think I might just do this part here in black. Just this section. And we're going to paint the blade silver before we add anything else to it. So if we get some of this Black Legion on here, it's not a problem. All right, so we're coming down here. Get that and get this. Alrighty, and I think that might be it for the black. The other guys, I gave them black shoes, but this is so like integrated into the armor. I'm not sure I want to do that on these guys. So I think we will pause here. I will evaluate the miniature, and then we'll come back and do the next step. Alright, we are back, and we're going to do the skin real quick. We're just going to use Reichland Flush Shade for this, and we're just going to get it all over his head here, which is the only area of exposed skin. And we can just go all over the hair as well if we need to. We're going to come back later and do the hair in a different color, but for now, it doesn't matter. Just make sure to get it all down in there. There we go. All right, and there's our skin color. Now, I think we'll just jump straight into the next color. Hopefully I have it here quickly and easily. Oh, it's back here trying to hide again. So we're going to use two colors. We're going to use, well, this is worn off, but Necro Gold from Skill 75 and Plate Mail Metal, which is also a little worn off from the Army Painter. We're going to do both of these at the same time here. Well, not at the same time, but back to back in the same video clip, I should say. Actually, we'll start with the silver. We'll start with our Plate Mail Metal here. And I might need to grab a thinner brush for some of this stuff. But I'll start with this thicker one. So I think I'll start with the blade here of his sword. And we're going to come back and put some contrast paint on this, but just start off. I'm just going to use the silver. Being careful in between these sections of black here. There we go. And the bottom. Wonderful. All right, now I think that's really the only big section of this, of silver. So I'm going to switch to the smaller brush now. We're just going to paint these in. So these little circles here. He's got some rivets on his armor. We'll paint those in. And then he's got some like pistons or something right here. We're going to paint these in silver. I was originally going to leave these the armor color, but I think they'll look cool in silver. And then these bits here, I'm going to paint those in silver, and then this part back here in silver. There we go. And then he's got some more rivets. I'm not going to worry about these back rivets here, but I am going to do the rivets on the blue, just because they'll give some nice contrast. There. He's got quite a lot of rivets, actually. I don't know if I'll do this on... Well, I guess there's only 5 of these guys to paint, so I probably will do this on all of them. But I just won't do the ones down at the back of his legs. I don't think you're really ever going to see those, so I'm not worried about it. One in there. All right. A couple more rivets here. There. Here. Yeah, there's quite a lot on this guy, actually. So I'll go through and make sure I hit all of the rivets, but for now, I'll just I'll move on here. So I'm going to get these circles here on the gun in silver. And then I'm going to paint this whole area back here silver. This sort of becomes personal preference, but I'm just going to pick out a couple areas on the gun to be silver. Don't really have any specific strategies for this. I'm going to do this part up here in silver. And this is just mostly to match the sort of style of the other guns on the whatever they're called, the normal infantry guys that I painted. All right, and then I think these circles here are gonna get some right here. I think that circle is actually for attaching the grenade launcher to these guys, and I think I forgot to do that, but you know, it's fine. Just don't tell anybody. Get these details on the gun, or on the sword arm here. Paint in some more rivets. And then I'm just going to take the brush and kind of go over like this on these cables just on the top here. Like that. And I'll do them on this side as well. Just to sort of, you know, they're sort of like dirty metal or just corroded metal or whatever. And then these bits back in here, I'm going to paint them in silver. Mostly just because I got some blue on them and they look kind of bad with the blue just sitting on them like that. So I'll just paint them silver, and then it was on purpose. One more little spot there. All right. So I said I was going to do this all in one step, but this clip is already past 6 minutes, so I will pause here. We'll come back and do the gold. All right, we are back, and like I said, this is worn off, but we're using Necro Gold from Scale 75. Got some out on my palette here a second ago, and now we're just going to go through and paint in all these things, all these decorative sigils or runes or whatever they are. They're all going to be this color. And then some details on the gun are going to be this color as well. So the front of the gun here is going to be gold. There we go. And then this little underside of the gun here, right here, is going to be gold as well. All right, and then it's just about going through and painting all these runes in gold. So this one, we've got another one right here. We got this one on the leg that I painted on the other side. I'm being pretty rough with these. If gold gets in the cracks and crevices, that's fine. If it doesn't, that's also fine. We're going to put a little bit of wash in there later, so I'm not super concerned with it. Just as long as we get the gold on there at all, we're good. Check the back here. Oh, yep, he's got some here. All right. On this side as well. Oh, and then down here. There we go. And I think that will be... Oh, nope. When in doubt, more sigils. There we go. Alright, so now, since we paused the video there after the silver, I'm just going to go straight into the white. We're just doing a very small thing with the white here. So just some matte white from the Army Painter. Any white will do, obviously. Most white paints are created equal. And I'm just going to come in here and very carefully get the lines of the plasma. And I'm just going to put some dots on this, on the part here below the plasma gun. That way when we, or below the plasma coil rather. That way when we come down with our contrast paint, it'll look sort of like it's glowing down here. At least that's the plan. If that's what it actually looks like, I'm not sure. But we're going to try it, dang it, and see what happens. Alright, so I'll let all that dry, and we'll come back, do the plasma glow, do his hair, do the red that's going to be for his weapon and some of his little lenses, add some washes, and call him done. Alrighty, we are back, and we're going to start off this step with some snakebite leather. Give it a little bit of a shake. And we're just going to put this on his hair. He doesn't have a lot of hair, but the hair he does have. And of course he's got a beard. I will say the Votann kits, I really enjoy the amount of variety they have in the heads, especially with how much or how many female heads they gave you. I think that's pretty cool. Alrighty, we are back, and we just have 3 colors left. So we're going to start with ball red here, and this is going to be for the sword blade first, which I'll use the bigger brush for. Just going to coat this and get nice smooth brush strokes on this. And you might need a second layer just because sometimes over silver this ball red will come out a little pink. But after the second layer you should be fine. Unless you like that sort of pinkish color, in which case carry on. Just rinsing my brush off, and now we're going to go to the smaller brush to do all the other things. So these lenses here, I'm going to do these in this red. There we go. Another one here. And the last one right here. Alright, and that is all the red. I forgot one other thing, which is just going to grab a little bit more white. One of the last things I do on these guys, because they're so small, I don't spend a lot of time on the eyes, but I do just put a white dot in each of the eyes so that they have a little bit more character in them. There we go. That'll be just fine. And then we just have 2 colors left. So first we'll use Luxion, or second, I guess. We used ball red first. Second, we'll use Luxion purple. We're just going to go straight in here into the plasma and make sure to come down onto the little white lines that we left here earlier. Down there. Just come in there like that. There we go. So there's our plasma there. And then finally, we will take some Nuln Oil, good old Nuln Oil, and just apply this, let me give it a shake, apply this to the gold, the silver, and that's about it. Oh, and the spots in here, the joints in the armor. I'm going to apply it in there, just to give it a little bit of definition in there. There we go. And on the reverse as well. Alrighty. And I think those, just barely in there, you can see a joint. Oh, right here, you can see a joint. And then I'm also going to do it on this grate behind his head here. There we go. All right, and then, like I said, on the silver, on the gold, so just filling in little cracks and crevices here. Maybe a little more up there. There we go. Get these pistons right here. And get this stuff here. Go get this just for, again, a little bit more definition. Also going to do his hands, not the armor around it, but just his fingers and stuff. Do that. Same on this side. There we go. And then also all over the gun here. All right. And then here on silver and gold. There. Do a little bit on there and on here. And then maybe just a little bit on these rivets, just to give them a little more definition. Not going to bother hitting them all, but I'll hit a couple. Especially on the Mortarion Grime armor here, it'll give them just a little bit of pop. There we go. Maybe a couple in there. And get those. And I think we will call him done. So, right about now, you should be seeing him on his base. I'm not sure if he'll be on his final base or if he'll just be on a colored base, just so I can take photos. But regardless, he'll be on a base of some sort, just so I can take the pictures. But yeah, if you like this sort of video, feel free to click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the next one.